Hello, my name is James Anderson. Thanks again for clicking. This is the accelerated weekly roundup here where we're going to go through some of the articles that have come out in the news in the last week that are pertinent to real estate here in the Lower Mainland, real estate throughout the country here as well, as you can see with this one. If you have any questions, you want to reach out, chat more about these or chat more about your goals in real estate, feel free to reach out. The contact information should be either below or exactly where you got this link here to start watching. So Canada needs to build 3.1 million more homes by 2030 to fill the supply gap. And what that means is they actually need to start building an additional 1.3 million new homes between 2024 right now and 2030. So we have our baseline that we are building right now, and they are trying to increase that exponentially, an average of 180 new additional homes through each year. Through to 2030, which is going to be very hard to do because of the supply constraint, but also because of the amount of workers that we have in the industry. We're going to have to basically double that to get to these types of levels here in terms of meet these demand. So what they're trying to do is increase the vacancy rate, which is right now at a record low of 5.1 in 2023. In certain areas in Vancouver, it's basically 1% vacancy rate, which is obviously very hard and shows that there is a big supply constraint. And we're trying to get it up to the average of about just under 7%, which is the nation's average in between 2000 and 2019. But here are some of the article's supply constraints, some issues that are making it harder to bring those homes to market, as construction material cost, inflation of that, equipment and labor, especially with the labor shortage in skilled trades. Apparently, it's somewhere in between 30 to 50% of the skilled trades that we have out there are going to be aging out and not going to be working in the industry within 10 years. And so with that, that's obviously going to pose a very big problem. And so the federal government just released this one here because it highlights some of the things that they're trying to do in that article in terms of building more units. And what it is doing is it is incentivizing more developers to develop. It's incentivizing more investors to invest in our communities, to build more homes, to invest and do real estate the proper way, which means not just speculation, not just buying homes to profit off of them in the near future. It's building and actually providing value, and that value is bringing more units to the market. And so this highlights some of the things that I've already talked about: training the workforce, getting more people to work in that industry, and supporting some of the current homeowners that are out there. The easiest and fastest way to bring more units to market is actually just unlocking some of the unused space in Canadian homes that is, again, unused. And how they're doing that is providing grants and low interest loans so that they can up to the tune of $40,000, so you can provide a secondary unit in your home. And that's the fastest way to unlock and build some of that stock. If you have to build a brand new apartment complex, that's going to take years. However, adding a basement suite is going to take maybe 3-4 months, and that is much quicker. And that is what they're trying to do to help in the very near term. And so it's clear in this report that they're trying to incentivize more investors in the market and doing the investment in the proper way. And this is a straight article here talking about the fact that they're trying to de-incentivize these types of investments. Less speculation into real estate, more actual real estate investing in terms of providing value. And that is where I think you can do a lot more benefit to your community by investing this way. And so this BC flipping tax, it's not a federal one, is going to try to limit the amount of people speculating, buying property for the fact that it's going to be maybe worth more in the future, and basically taking those people that are doing that, the demand of those buyers out of the market, so that the people that want to buy and should be buying homes are doing it. And so the tax was introduced here with the BC budget for 2024. And if you hold a property for less than 2 years, the tax can apply for properties zoned in residential use, as well as income derived from reselling purchases contracts as well. That's the other thing too, is resale contracts, pre-sale contracts, assignment of sales. When you buy a pre-sale condo, something that is not finished, and then you resell that to someone else at a later date. It's going to be applied to that, but there's some ways around that in terms of making sure that you hold that contract, that specific contract, not a property, for more than 2 years, and then you're exempt from this. Now, I want to highlight the sale of a property here. This is actually one single property here. I don't want to disclose the information about the property just for our realtor rules, but I will go into the details as much as I can. This property was purchased in October of 2021 for listed for 1.3, sold for 1.56. Those were the days where multiple offers and many more asking over was pretty commonplace here, and it was only a 1,600 square foot home. They basically added, encapsulated and made the garage a livable space, probably illegal. However, they listed it again for 1.6 and sold it for $1.9 million. And that was only 4 months later. So this is something that the flipping tax is obviously going to stop. They did provide a slight amount of value-ish, but this is what is going to stop. These people are not going to be able to do this anymore. That $300,000 in revenue, minus the friction costs there with this difference, is basically going to, would be taxed at a very high rate and discourage this type of activity. And they were very lucky during this, because a few months later, if they listed this property 3 months later, I think that would have been a lot more issues here as well. So flipping does come with some risks. These guys obviously made out very well. So the next article is talking about the fact that the BC building code is going to be changing and allowing for higher mass timber buildings up to 18 stories. Usually right now, timber or just wood frame is usually limited up to 6. The mass timber was up to 12, and they're increasing that up to 18 stories for residential and office buildings. And then usually it is a little bit cheaper and faster to build with this type of product. So that is why these changes are being made, again, to bring more product to the market. And then, so just for perspective, this is what they built out in UBC, the Brock Commons Tallwood House. This was a very well-built student building. And as you can see, it's a combination of concrete and mass timber here supporting the vertical. So next I wanted to highlight what is going on in Canadian real estate over in Ontario here. And this is a platform called Final Offer, which is basically going to be probably introduced here throughout the rest of Canada. Right now, it is a Royal Lepage Signature Realty product that they are using for their clients. I am also with Royal Lepage, not Signature Realty. I'm with Royal Lepage Sterling Realty here in the Lower Mainland. But I assume that this is going to come across for us. And what it is a online bidding system for people to sell their homes. This is going to create the transparency that everybody wants in our industry, and it's going to help sellers sell their home for more, in my opinion, if used correctly here. And as you can see here, you can go onto these websites and browse these properties that do have these open offers, these final offers options. So I'm not going to get into all the details here of exactly how this platform works, because it is probably going to have to be changed when it does come into BC here because of our rescission period. However, you can take a look at this and learn more about it and be prepared for when the time comes, when it does come to BC. And so for the last news article here, we're going to talk about the fact that there are thousands of British Columbians leaving for Alberta, and the obvious reason is because of affordability here in the Lower Mainland. To the tune of about 37,000 people leaving in 2023 alone. For the first time since 2012, BC lost more people than it gained, and the majority of those people are leaving towards Alberta. Now, lastly, I want to highlight the stat of the week. And before I get a little bit too negative here, talking about everybody leaving BC, leaving the Lower Mainland to head to Alberta, I want to talk a little bit about what is changing right now in terms of months of inventory here in the Fraser Valley. And as you can see here, the red line, the red numbers are basically the detached house, apartments are in blue, and townhouses are in purple. And you can see that they are slightly increasing. If we bring it down to 1 year, you can see the actual numbers. You can see that it's actually increasing. We're coming into a balanced market for detached homes. Right in between these two lines is going to be a balanced market. If it does get up into the 9s, basically, it's going to be a buyer's market. That means the market is more stronger for buyers. There's more first of all, there's less buyers out there, and there's more homes for sale. And that's kind of how you determine months of inventory. It's basically trying to determine how active is the market. And this is kind of starting to show not only in the anecdotal stories, but also in the statistics here. As you can see here, slowly starting to increase. Townhouses are slowly starting to increase. It was very hot back in March here. As you can see, 2.4 in the Fraser Valley for townhouses, which is a very, very active market where prices usually start to go up. And as soon as these numbers start to climb back into the balanced territory, back into the buyer's market territory above this orange line, you will get prices to flatten out or start to come down. And this is one of the main reasons why we're starting to see that change in months of inventory, is because the total amount of inventory is increasing here. It went from 4,900 to 5,500 in the Fraser Valley, and it also increased here in the Greater Vancouver Realtors Board, 9,800 to over 10,000. So that is what is going on. That is my stat of the week. I hope you enjoy watching all of these news articles. If you have any questions here, feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat to you more about your goals. Thank you.